once again to the 38th annual NHRA U.S. Nationals. Joel Myers along with Steve Evans and Big Daddy Don Garlitz. There's Larry Morgan's wife Diane along with Nicholas on the left, and there's Austin on the right. And we get back to the starting line now. It's the funny car semifinals. Del Worsham against John Force. Will it finally be the year for Force?
Well, Joel, one thing crew chief Austin Coyle hasn't had to do with the Force car, and that's set up an overpowering combination. Not if you look at the times that Del Worsham, captain by his brother Chuck, has been running. They've been mired in the low 530s, and Don Garlitz, that is not enough. To find a 10th these days is very hard.
Yes, it is, but I'll tell you, Austin's very serious. We saw him earlier physically working on the clutch himself. He didn't have it relegated to some crewman. That tells me he's very concerned about this car's performance.
The car is shaking violently. Force loses traction. John Force will not win this U.S. Nationals. And Del Worsham and his father Chuck, they found that elusive 10th I talked about. They whittled their ET down to a 521, and that's competitive. And after a decade of trying, John Force will again leave here singing the U.S. Nationals blues. Let's go to Don Garlitz.
Chuck, you might have backed into that round before, but you didn't back into that one with no 521.
No, we got a little bit lucky. We found a magneto that was dead the round before, and the car had no power. So thanks to Doug Herb and some of the guys, we got her fixed. Thank you.
So we have one car in the finals now in the funny cars. That of Del Worsham. Now we get ready for the next semi. Chuck Etchels getting his car started. He'll be facing Cruz Pedregon. Pedregon in and ready to go. And if you were to ask these drivers what they'd want to take home more than anything else, it'd be a victory in the finals at the U.S. Nationals. It won't be for John Force. Let's go to Steve.
John, a long, tough weekend has come to a disappointing close.
The kid's a good kid. I'm just hot. That was a big one. I wanted it. We worked hard. We paid dearly for it, and I'm hot. It's
nothing you could have done.
Don't matter. Got to go back. Got to regroup. He ran a number. We didn't expect it, but our car just we've lost our consistency. We're in that 512. We're just going to keep pushing on that, and that's just drag racing. It's a long weekend for all my people at Castrol and Oldsmobile and Jolly Rancher, and that's just drag racing.
Indeed.
Nothing more to say for a very disappointed John Force, but as you can see, he's tipping his cap to the victorious crew of Del Worsham. Now back to the starting line for the next semifinal.
This has all the potential in the world of being maybe the best race of the day. Reinforce what Joel said earlier, these two come in with exactly the same elapsed time from the previous round. Oh, it's a honey of a drag race. Whoa! It is Pedregon. Larry Myers says, yes, that's my boy. A 5.15 second elapsed time. The second best of the entire meeting. Etchel's a very good 520. He had a starting line advantage to boot, and he made it close.
Well, Chuck Etchels makes a brilliant start. He knew that car of Pedregon was going to be tough, so he wanted to get all he could to start, and tough he was. He was only out in front of him for just a moment, and then Pedregon began to make a move and ran that really trick 515, which was the best run he made today.
Cruz, you woke him up with a 515, but you had a fuel tank concern.
Yeah, we had a fuel leak. We put our other fuel tank in, it leaked also. But Steve, I'll tell you, this is the biggest win of my career. I can't be any happier now. I really want to win this race for the crew. Everybody doing a hell of a job. I've been a little sluggish on my reaction times, but I plan on picking that up.
What a rocket ship this ride has to be.
Oh, it is. It puts you in the trunk, definitely. Pulls like a top fuel car. I think it is a top fuel car sometimes.
In disguise.
Well, he's in the funny car. It feels like a top fuel to Cruz Pedregon, and the young man from just outside of the Los Angeles area, he's in the finals going up against Del Worsham, and Pedregon does have the advantage. He's got the lane choice. And back in the pit area, Ed McCullough's crew, headed up by Lee Beer. They're getting ready for the finals in the top fuel, and when we return, we'll have the finals in all three divisions. The sun is beginning to set on the 38th annual NHRA U.S. Nationals in Indianapolis, and welcome back once again. There's a former champion here, Tom the Mongoose McEwen. He's in Doug Herbert's pit area watching the crew get ready for that big matchup with Ed McCullough in the top fuels. But right now, let's move over to the other division as we get ready for finals in all three divisions. And first up, it's the Pro Stocks.
And it's Larry Morgan up against Warren Johnson. And Don Garlitz, Warren Johnson has publicly stated he's He's his own worst enemy sometimes off the starting line, either being a little bit late or a little bit too early in red lighting. But this is the U.S. Nationals. He's been right on his game all day long.
But so has Larry Morgan, and he's going to try and take advantage of that because, you know, the pro stocks, the starting line is everything.
Yep. All right, Warren Johnson has had an edge on all of the competition all day long in the performance department. If he can back that up with a good, solid driving performance off the starting line, as Big Daddy said, he could win his second U.S. National, the last one coming in 1984. Morgan had the advantage. Johnson had the power. Warren Johnson, the U.S. Nationals Pro Stock champion, 721 to a 7.27. Johnson speed 191 miles an hour. Worthy of another look, Don.
Well, Larry Morgan took his advantage off the starting line like he planned, but Warren Johnson was very sharp on the lights also, so the advantage wasn't all that great. You couple that with the fact that Warren Johnson had more power. You can see the car moving very hard through the mid-range, and that with that 191 miles an hour, Larry Morgan could not make up the difference with reaction.
Let's go over to Steve.
You don't see a lot of emotion out of Warren Johnson, but when you win Indy, a statue becomes animated. Great job.
Oh, Indy, I mean, this is everything that you work for all year long, including the championship. We're not counting on a championship yet, but Indy, I mean, this is the race to win.
What a great race with Larry Morgan, both off the line. You got a little bit of an edge.
I told you this race is, everybody works their butts off. Everybody deserves to win, but unfortunately, only one person can win this thing.
And you did it. Congratulations again.
Thank you very much, Steve.
So the U.S. National Champion of the Pro Stock Division is Warren Johnson. He's had a phenomenal year as he's been running away from the field all season long. But Larry Morgan made a move to move into the top 5. Now it's time for the funny car finals. It's going to be Cruz Pedregon of the car you're looking at right now, with crew chief Larry Meyer looking on. And he's facing Del Worsham. We saw earlier Del's father Chuck orchestrating things. But the real success story this weekend is surrounding the owner of the car you're looking at right now. It's been an incredible U.S. Nationals for Larry Meyer. And so far, it's truly been a dream come true.
You are looking at the top fuel dragster of Ed McCullough being readied for the final round. This is one of the most amazing scenes I've ever seen in all the years I've been around this sport. Here is the funny car of Cruz Pedregon, also being prepared for final round competition. And this is the man that owns both cars, Larry Meyer. This is the drag racing lotto.
Steve, this is just amazing that both cars are running this good. You'd think that you had the same crew chief on both cars, but you got completely separate crews, 2 different crew chiefs. They're tuning the cars the way they feel they should run. They both have held low ET every round. They both picked up 300s the last round. It's just amazing. Of course, this thing isn't over yet, and you know, we got one more round apiece, and it's going to be tough.
I know it's going to be tough. And ladies and gentlemen, right there with his back to you, that is the president and chief executive officer of McDonald's. Ed Renzi's getting his hands real dirty.
I love it. They've got the CEO, Ed Renzi, cleaning things up in the pit area and helping out as well.
If Cruz Pedregon wins the U.S. Nationals in his rookie season in a funny car, just be glad you don't work for John Force. There's not going to be any days off in that camp.
And those days will be 14 to 18 hours, Steve, every one of them.
That's right. There's only 4 races on the tour after the U.S. Nationals, which is a total of 16 rounds of racing. If Cruz can win here, there'll only be 2 rounds behind fourth. Del Worsham, he wants the prize money, almost $80,000. And Worsham smokes the tires, tries to backpedal it, cannot hook the car up. Larry Meyer, you, your team, and your brilliant young driver, Cruz Pedregon, have won the U.S. Nationals.
That incredible success story continues for the car owner you're looking at him right now, Larry Meyer. He is 1 for 2. He could be 2 for 2 by the end of the day. Let's head over to Down now as he gets together with a very happy crew chief, Larry Meyer.
I'll tell you, Larry, it's one thing to run a real trick ET in qualifying, and it's another to bang them out one time after another going into the finals.
I'll tell you what, this deal's been a tough race. We put everything into it we could. This McDonald's Oldsmobile Minor crew, it's the greatest there is. We're going to start calling it Mom Racing. Thanks.
Mom Racing for Larry Meyer. We knew Cruz was happy. He told us earlier, biggest weekend of his life. Let's find out.